Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be going over the last lesson of Unit 8, Unit Lesson 3, which will be simplifying rational expressions. And at the end, I just wanted to do a kind of a brief conclusion to my last video. I kind of forgot to cover a few things, actually pretty important, so make sure to stick to the end to see those parts as well. So in this video, actually, we're going to go over simplifying rational expressions. And so basically what we're going to do is going to try to simplify these to the most possible way we can. And the reason why it's a rational expression is because it's a fraction, right? All these are fractions. But it wouldn't be like, no one would say that this is simplifying fractions, right? Simplifying fractions would usually not be with variables. When you have variables in them, then you're dividing like that, then that would be considered rational expressions. Just something to keep in mind. So let's do these problems now. So this is the same approach we're going to take that we did in the last video, right? If we can factor, we're going to factor. If we can't factor, we're not going to factor. So 2n minus 3, we obviously can't factor that. I mean, we could, but there's really no point. And so 6n minus 9, you can divide a 3 out of that. So you factor out a 3, so that'll be 2n minus 3. You can check that by distributing the 3 back into both terms if you want to. Now you notice that you have 2n minus 3 over 3 times 2n minus 3. If you guys remember from pre-algebra, you can actually get rid of these 2n minus 3 on both sides because it's over a fraction. So you'll just have a 1 over here, and make sure you get rid of this one. So you'll have 1/3. Alright, let's go to the next one. So for this one, we have a trinomial on the top side. I guess it's on the left because I'm using my computer. But we have a trinomial, so we can use that puzzle thing that we did. So remember, it's basically you have two numbers that you can multiply to get negative 80, and then two numbers you can add to get negative 2. So I'll let you guys think about that for a little bit. If you guys need to pause the video if you want to. Alright, assuming that you guys kind of go at it. The two numbers that I figured were negative 10 and 8. So x minus 10, x plus 8 over x minus 10. Notice that we have an x minus 10 on both sides of the fraction, or fraction sign, or dividing sign, whatever you want to call it, rational sign. So it'll be an x plus 8 over 1, which is the same thing as x plus 8. Alright. This one is a little bit more tricky. Notice that we have a lot of things going on. Alright, so when you're going to try to solve this one, you're going to need to take a different approach, right? Because this is a multi-step rational expression, where you have to do different steps in each of them, and then solve, right? So let's take a look at this first one. So we have a 3n over 3n squared minus 30n, right? So we have, let's separate them. Let's do the numerator part first. So you have 3n over 3n squared. Let me put it in parentheses so you guys can really see what I'm trying to say here. 30n. From here you can factor the bottom part. So you can take out a 3n, right? So if you took out a 3n, you'd have n minus actually 10. N minus 10. And so you can get rid of this 3n over 3n thing right here. So you're left with 1 over n minus 10. And then this whole thing divided by 4n squared. Right here, let me just copy paste this so it won't take me too much time and hinder your time as well. So let me really show you guys. Let's take right here. So our thing that's over on the numerator, which we just solved, is 1 over n minus 10, and then on the denominator we have 4 over n squared minus 4n minus 60. So let's solve the denominator now. So we have 4 over, and then we have n squared minus 4n minus 60. So guess what that means? We need to do the factoring again. Right? Except we have a trinomial again, so let's do that thing where we do the puzzle. So I'll let you guys think about it for a second. I'll also think about it, and then when you guys are ready and you've figured out the answer, then feel free to unpause the video. So based off of what I'm seeing right here, I think I'm probably going to use a -10 and a 6. Because if you multiply the -10 and 6, you get -60. If you add the -10 and 6, you get -4. So it'll be x minus 10, x plus 4. And so this will be that. So from here, our final step would be 1 over n minus 10 over x minus 10. Oops. Okay, I don't know why I introduced a new variable here. That's my bad, guys. It's still n over n minus 10 times n plus 4. So let's see what we've done so far, right? So notice that we're dividing, right? So when we're dividing one number by the other, and you have like a division sign inside it itself, what you guys can do is you guys can actually like flip it, right? 1 divided by n minus 10 divided by n minus 10 times n plus 4 is the same thing as 1 divided by n minus 10 times 1 over n minus 10 times n plus 4. But if you guys want to, you can solve that further and find a trinomial and do all that stuff. But just to make this video short and concise to the point, I'm going to stop it right here. I'm not stopping the video, don't worry guys. We have 2 more questions, and so these are like continuation from the last video. So these are both known as special cases. I know I went through one special case last video about prime factoring, where you can't factor at all. This one, the one I'm about to do, 25x squared minus 36, this is known as binomial factoring. So it's basically where you take this, or it's known as this, you can just take the square root of each of those. So it's kind of like square root factoring. So you take the square root of the first term, 25x squared, the square root is 5x. Then negative 36 squared. Or just, alright, for now just forget about the operation in the middle and just look at the 36. So that'll be a 6, right? So let's carry over that negative sign. And so that'll be 5x minus 6, and then after that we're gonna have a positive sign, right? So then we'd have a 5x plus 6 in turn. So that's why it's called the square root, where you just take the square root of both. And then one more, this one is known as the perfect square factoring. So you're basically taking the perfect square, or like the square of the first and third terms. So the first term's perfect square is 2b, and then plus the second or the third term's square, which is 5. So 2b plus 5. Well, we're going to multiply this by. Well, we're just going to multiply by itself, right? Because we have 2 positives right here and right here. But if we had a negative here, just here, then we put a negative in both of them. And if we added just a negative over here, or 2 negatives, then we won't be able to do perfect square. So we have 2b plus 5 times 2b plus 5. If you guys want, feel free to check these answers by putting them or foiling them back together and seeing if you get the original equation. That's just like a quick tip to, like, if you guys are like taking a test, you guys aren't sure if you got the correct answer for some of these trinomial or factoring questions, any of these factoring questions, feel free to actually multiply them back into each other and then see if it works. So we have 2b plus 5 times 2b plus 5, that's our factored form. And then from here, this is the same thing as 2b plus 5 squared, right? Because you're multiplying the same thing. It's like x times x, right? X times x is x squared. Same thing in this case. So this will be your final answer, right here. So I hope you guys found this video entertaining, especially that question over here, that long one, this one. That was pretty interesting to me, but I don't know about you guys. But that's basically it for this unit 8. I think we have one more unit for this series, for the Algebra 1 curriculum. And after that, I don't know what I'll be doing after that, but I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. But until then, until unit 9, which is, I believe, statistics, the last unit, make sure to stay safe. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.